Hey gamers, Rick here with Game Trade Media. We're coming to you from GenCon 2018. I have Anton from Catan Studios today here to talk to us about a new product coming out from Catan Studios. We happen to be at the Lucas Oil Stadium, and if we take a look outside real quick, you can see all the cool gameplay going on there. We got a little zoom in there. Looks like we got some role players possibly around a table enjoying, or some card players. I can't tell, but it looks amazing, and it's super crowded, and it looks like they're having fun, and we're about to have some fun learning about a new game.
There you go. Thanks, Rick.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I am here with a new Catan product that's due out in December of 2018. And this is a product that is a scenario.
Okay.
Okay, so this builds upon the core experience of Catan. And like all of the Catan products, there's something at the core that once you have played a Catan game is going to be very familiar to you.
Right.
But it expands it in a way that is really unique and has an exciting hook for me, which is new, and it talking about food diversity. So this is Catan Crop Trust.
Okay.
This is the Crop Trust scenario. This is a product that takes core Catan, where you're building roads, you're building settlements, you're building cities, you're attempting to get 10 victory points before any other player. That's right. That's a general setup for Catan. The difference here is when you have a field of grain, and I'm going to put a tile out if you want to see that. This is a very recognizable
field of grain,
right? Hex. If you've played Catan before, you know what those grain tiles look like. You know that there are cards that come general resources. But in Crop Trust, we've injected this with a little bit of the real world.
Okay.
We've taken the opportunity to try and educate people in a way that built upon core experience of Catan and consider, well, what is grain? Grain is a food resource. And so when you roll at the beginning of a turn and the grain hex generates resources, players are going to have a more difficult decision. They're going to decide whether or not they want to harvest that grain as food, or if they instead opt out. And the reason you might opt out is, well, grain is not generic. Each of these tiles is going to have a number of tokens on them representing a specific type of grain.
Okay.
So we have wheat, we have beans, we have quinoa, there's also rice, there's corn. And so if I were to roll and pull grain or pull food in this case from this hex, I need to choose, am I going to take one of these items? And if I do, I'll remove the token, and I put it back into the pool, and I get my card. Okay, that's pretty standard. And I use those resources to build more roads, to build more cities, to upgrade, build settlements, upgrade my settlements to cities. But what happens if that field is empty? Okay, there's obviously no more food left. We have completely gutted the land of its natural resources, and it will no longer produce food.
Yeah, there's no more nourishment there.
Okay.
Yeah.
In the real world, food and crop diversity is something that is very important. So what happens if we take a game like Catan that people are trading for resources, but now they realize there aren't unlimited resources available? And the difficult choice is, well, at some point, maybe I need to take, instead of taking those grains and using them as food, or taking the beans or the quinoa, I'm going to take those seeds and I'm going to deposit them in the seed bank. Okay, so we've partnered with the Crop Trust. This is a real-world organization that's doing very important things.
And you can see right on the cover there, it is, tell us the location again.
Right, this is a rendering of the seed bank that is in Svalbard, Norway. In this bank are, from countries all around the world, are hundreds and thousands, and actually thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds that have been deposited for safekeeping. So at some point in the future, if we need them, if there's a blight that's suffered somewhere in the world, if the change in the environment is such that causes certain plants out there to stop growing, we can pull from this bank of seeds and repopulate. Right? I think food is pretty important. The Crop Trust is doing great work. And so working with the Crop Trust, this scenario is a product where Catan Studio is going to donate $1 from every purchase to this cause. And then Catan GmbH, which are the Teuber family, right? The people who started this wonderful world of Catan, who presented that to all of us, they're going to donate all of the royalties from this product, the licensing royalties from Crop Trust, to the cause.
That's amazing.
And so that's the pitch, right? You could go and have a game that is offers a new twist strategically, but also contributes to a great cause.
Yeah, it's so good.
All right. So one little element that I'll show is on your turn, instead of building a road, instead of building a settlement or upgrading a settlement to a city, you can spend a wood and an ore.
Okay.
Here it shows it on the card. Each player will have one of these cards, and this card represents a sort of tracks how many seeds you've donated to the seed bank.
Okay.
So you spend a wood and ore. You will, instead of harvesting for food, I would choose one of the seeds, and I flip it over, and you'll see that's a vial that has seeds inside of it.
Okay.
And you're going to put it on your particular board to show that you have captured those, and then you'll stack a bunch of seeds of the same type. And I didn't pull 4, but let's use 3. You'll stack 4 on the matching bank of your colors. So each player has an area in the seed bank where they're going to indicate what seeds they've harvested.
Okay.
I would then take whatever seeds I already have in the bank, and I'd repopulate those out into the grain hexes.
Okay.
Right. So I'm going to spend resources to not take food, but I'm instead going to take and keep a seed, put that seed in the seed bank, and then repopulate these grains with real food. The problem is later in the game when players either clear that of grain entirely, or as you build roads and settlements, there's another issue that happens, which is you turn over these event tokens.
Okay.
So as you develop, in this case, the hexes that are numbered 5, 6, and 8 would lose beans if they had them.
Right.
There are other events. They're all bad. Here, if we've only got one type of grain there. If it's a monoculture, they're all going to suffer from disease, and they're all going to go away. So there's this kind of a tug back and forth of do I think for myself? Do I think for the world? And it's really interesting. It causes people to ask a lot of questions and to understand crop diversity is important.
Absolutely, and as an educational tool, it's going to be a great advantage to the youth. Because Catan is a gateway game for a lot of people.
It is.
It's the first one they get to play before they enter into our arena of board games and tabletop. But as a way to teach our youth that the importance of food and food diversity and saving, like you said, putting it in the Crop Trust up there. What a great educational tool for them. Yeah,
and honestly, for youth and adults, the first time I played this, there's a real challenge when you think, I want this food, I want this grain, I want to use it to build something.
Right.
But we're running low of corn. There was a game I played a couple weeks ago, and we were running low of corn. I realized this was one of 2 corn fields that were still producing corn, and there was nothing in the bank. There was nothing waiting to be repopulated out in the world. And so if you think short term, the game can actually end with all the players losing.
Right.
You can still establish a game winner when you see who has committed more seeds to the seed bank. But it's a real interesting twist. It's a great way to open up conversations about the topic.
Absolutely.
There's an almanac in the back of the manual that introduces what the Crop Trust is doing. And again, the proceeds, $1 is going to go from every product from Catan, and then the licensing royalties are going to be donated to Crop Trust.
Well, thank you, Anton, for showing us this. Make sure you go over to Catan Studios and Catan. It's on the interwebs. What's that website they want to go check out?
Catan.com.
Catan.com. So you can find out more about this and all the Catan products that are available at your local game store.
Great.
I'm Rick, and I'll see you at the game store.
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks for watching Game Trade Media. Make sure to leave us a like and click that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new content.